Welcome to the Getting Started with PageBuilder video. PageBuilder is how you design your talking picture albums in TapToTalk Designer. A TapToTalk album is just like a real picture album you have at home. It can have many pages filled with pictures. You arrange the pictures on the pages any way that you want. The difference is that pictures in a TapToTalk album talk when you tap on them. The albums you design in PageBuilder can be published and played on any of the many devices that run the TapToTalk app. The top half of the PageBuilder screen lets you see and test the pages in your album. In the middle is the current page, the page that you are currently adding pictures to. When you click on a picture in the picture library, it is added to the current page. On the right is the current picture. That is the last picture you clicked on. That is also where you can change the text and sound of your picture. In this video, we're going to design a new album that Johnny James is going to use for school. The very first picture that we click on in a new album is called the album image. It is like the front cover of a real album. Let's look at the pictures that are in the school category of the TapToTalk Designer Standard Picture Library. You can choose from the many categories here. When you change the category, in this example we'll choose school. Let's scroll down, find school, and click on it. The pictures you see on the bottom half of the screen change to those in the category. Let's pick the school bus as the album image. Adding a picture to a page is as easy as click to add. Click on a picture and it is added to the page. So we click on the school bus. It is added to the album and it becomes the current picture. We can now change the text that the child or adult sees on the picture. The name is our own name for the album. Johnny won't see that. He will just see the caption and the description. Let's fill those in and call it school. And for the description, we'll call it Johnny's School Album. When we're happy with our changes, we click on Save Picture. So the next thing I want to do is to start adding more pictures to the first page of the album. Right now I'm working on the first page and it's the current page. I'm going to go back to the school category. Now I'm going to choose some things that Johnny needs to take to school. For example, I'm going to click on backpack. And as you see, when I click on a picture, it gets added to the page. I don't drag and drop. All I need to do is click on the picture, it gets added. I'm going to go ahead and click on a couple more pictures, like locker and teacher. And as you can see, as I add pictures, they just get added to the top of the page. So what I have here right now is a very simple album with one page and 3 pictures. Now a good thing to do every 5 to 10 minutes when you're using PageBuilder is to click on Save Album. What Save Album does is it takes your work and it saves it to our TapToTalk Designer servers, and it makes sure that you never lose your work. Now let's make changes to the pictures that we've put on this page and give them the text we want and make them talk. So first I'll click on backpack. And when I click on backpack, you'll see that its outline turned to blue and it became the current picture. The name and the caption are exactly what I want. Again, the caption is what the child or adult sees, and so is the description. What I'm going to put in the description is things in my backpack. The easiest way in PageBuilder to give sound to a picture is just to press on Save TTS.
Things in my backpack.
What happens when you press Save TTS is that the description gets turned into speech. TTS stands for text to speech, and so the description gets sent to the TapToTalk text to speech engine. It gets converted to speech, and so now my picture is ready. It's exactly the way I want it, and I'm going to click on Save Picture. Now we repeat that process with every picture on the page. So I'm going to do that with locker. As you can see in this case, the name of the picture was Lockers 2 because there were more than one picture of the locker in our library. So I'm not going to change the name. The child doesn't see that. But I will change this to locker. I'll make the description things in my locker. Again, I click Save TTS and then save the picture. I'll do the same with teacher. Again, the caption's fine. I'm going to say make the description the names of my teachers. Again, I click on Save TTS and I save the picture. Here's how the text appears in the TapToTalk app. The caption appears with the group of pictures on the bottom half of the app. After you tap one of those pictures, it goes to the top, and the description appears with the larger picture at the top half of the screen. Text-to-speech isn't the only option that you have. There are other ways to add sounds to the pictures. You can import an MP3 file. So you click on Import and it lets you choose an MP3 or a WAV file, and that can be attached to the picture. Another popular way to add sound to a picture is to click on Record. As you can see when you click on Record, what this brings up is TapToTalk Designer's built-in recording control. So if you have a microphone attached to your computer, you can record your voice. A lot of people choose that option because the child or adult may prefer a more human-sounding voice. Or if you're designing albums in one of the languages that TapToTalk Designer does not have text-to-speech capabilities for, you will need to use the recording option. But again, I've already done text-to-speech, and I'm going to go ahead and click Save Picture. So to summarize what we just did, we clicked on 3 pictures. They got added to the first page of the album. We went through each picture one by one and changed its properties over here in Current Picture so that they would have the text and the sound that we want for each picture. Now, some of the things that we can do with the pictures once they're on the page is to change their order. We can delete them if we don't want them, and we can test how they work right here on the page. So for example, if I wanted the teacher picture to be the first picture on the page and not the third picture on the page, I can move it to the left by clicking on the left button. And if I change my mind and I want it in the middle, I just click on right and it moves it over to the right. Well, I've made some changes, so I'm going to click on Save Album again. So the next thing I want to do is I'm going to add pictures of things that go into Johnny's backpack. So how do I do that? In other words, what I want to happen is that when the child taps on backpack, I want a new page to come up in TapToTalk with pictures of things in Johnny's backpack. So the first thing I need to do is make sure that backpack is the current picture in PageBuilder. So I click on backpack, and anytime I click on a picture, it becomes the current picture. Again, I could make changes to it, but that's not what we're going to do right now. What I want to do at this point is open a new page. So I'm going to click on New Page, which is right here under the current picture. So let's see what happened when I clicked on New Page. When I clicked on New Page, the current page moved over to the previous page. This lets me see where I came from. And the current page right now is an empty page. It just has Click to Add to remind me what I need to do. So let's think about some things that Johnny needs to have in his backpack. Well, let's for example say we want to have pencils in his backpack. I could go through the categories as I showed you before, but I want to show you right now another way to find things in your picture library. So I'm going to use the search feature here, and I'm going to put in the word pencil and then press on search. So rather than going through all of the categories, what it does is it shows me all the pictures anywhere in my library that happens to use the word pencil in it. And I like this picture over here with the color pencil, so I'm going to go ahead and click on that. I'm also going to search for lunch because I want Johnny to remember to take his lunch in his backpack. Well, it looks like the Symbol Sticks collection has a really nice picture of a lunchbox, so I'm going to add that as well. I also want to add books to this page. Wow, look, there's a lot of different things about books. So it looks like in our collection we have this book. I like that, so I'm going to add that. Now I could go ahead and keep adding pictures just by clicking on them, but I'm going to stop here just for the example here. Again, what I do is go through one by one and change the properties of the pictures by making it the current picture. Again, to change the properties, I click on the picture. It becomes the current picture. I change the caption. I change the description. I convert it to speech.
Color pencils.
I press on Save Picture. And I'm done. I'm not going to go through in this video and do that with the other pictures because you've seen that 3 or 4 times now. Now I've done some work on my album and I want to test it a little bit. So the home and the back button work exactly the way they do on the device. The home button takes me back to the first page of the album. Okay, so now that I clicked on home and I'm back on the first page of the album, I can test things. Click on backpack.
Things in my backpack.
And it opens up to the second page, which is what I wanted to do. I also heard it talk. I click on pencils.
Color pencils.
And I heard it talk. It's exactly the way I want it to work. I've saved it already, so everything's good. When I'm done with my album and I don't want to make any more changes, I go ahead and click on Save and Exit. That saves my final work, and now this new school album appears in my list of albums on the Albums in TapToTalk page. So now that my album is ready to go, the very last step is to publish the album with any other albums that I want on the child's device. If later on I want to add things to the album or make changes to the items that I chose, I can always go and edit that album again. I just click on Edit right here, and that brings me back into PageBuilder. So the change I'm going to make now is to start adding pictures of teachers when Johnny clicks on the teacher picture. So again, what I do is I click on Teacher.
The names of my teachers.
That makes it the current picture. I open up a new page, and I have a page here ready to add new pictures. I'm going to show you something new right now that we didn't do before, and we're going to add an actual photograph rather than go to our picture library. To do that, I'm going to click on Import Picture right here under the current picture. That brings up a box that lets me select a picture from my computer and add it to the current page. It will also add it directly to my user library as well, so it kind of does two things at the same time. The first thing I do is I select the category in my user library that where I want the picture to be saved. Okay, well, it's the teacher category I'm going to choose. The next thing I do is I click on Select a Picture. I'm going to go ahead and do that. It lets me navigate to where my pictures might be stored, but in this case I'm already there, so I'm going to just go ahead and click on this picture of Mrs. James and open it. As you can see, everything's done. I click on Done. Now that picture of Mrs. Jones is added to the current page. It's my current picture, and it's already been added to my picture library. Now I'm going to go ahead and add the description like we did before. I'm going to go ahead and convert it to speech.
Mrs. James.
And then I'm going to go ahead and save the picture. I'm going to do something slightly different here as well. I made some changes I want to keep, and I also want those changes to go back to my picture library. I want them copied into my picture library. So instead of just clicking on Save Picture, I'm going to click on Save to Library. I'm going to keep it in the teacher category, and I'm going to go ahead and click on Save Picture. So a couple of things just happened. The picture is saved properly on our new page. It talks, and it has the right text, the right caption, the description, and also the work that I just did on this picture. Because I clicked on Save Library, that picture has been updated in the library as well. So from now on, whenever I add this picture of Mrs. James to any of the pages of any other album, or if I want to use it again in this album, it's already set up and I won't have to change its properties again. Again, I'm done, so I'm going to go ahead and save the album. And I want to go ahead and test it again, so I'm going to click on Home. I'll click on Teachers.
Names of my teachers.
And I'm going to click on Mrs. James.
Mrs. James.
So hopefully now, using this example of building a school album, you see how easy it is to build an album in TapToTalk Designer by using PageBuilder. All you need to do is click on a picture from the library or import a picture from your hard drive. Change the caption and description on the picture. Give it a sound. Save the picture, and then when you're done adding pictures, go ahead and save the album. And when you're ready to publish, just click on Save and Exit. That brings you back to Albums in TapToTalk. You can now select your albums and then go ahead and click on Publish to TapToTalk. That's the last step you do in order to prepare your albums to be downloaded to your device. We hope this video helped. If you have any questions at all about how to use TapToTalk Designer or how to use PageBuilder, please email us at support@taptotalk.com and we'd be happy to answer your questions.